Tonight on 7 News, two men with stab wounds and a woman fighting for life. The horror scene confronting police this morning.
Opening the floodgates, hundreds of thousands of pro-Palestine protesters march through our streets again.
A gymnastics coach arrested on child sex charges, accused of touching a teenager in a Western Sydney hotel.
Full steam ahead, new details on the plan to finish Wallara train station and add thousands of new homes.
The Sydney nutritionist who believes our food health ratings are so off track she's developed her own.
And Jerome Luai shines in game number 150, but is it enough against the Cowboys?
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson and Angela Cox.
Good evening. A woman in her 60s is fighting for life and two men believed to be her sons are in hospital tonight being treated for multiple stab wounds.
Police were confronted by the horrific scene after being called to a home in the Blue Mountains early this morning. Detectives are now investigating if the woman's injuries were self-inflicted.
Paramedics fight to keep a 37-year-old man alive, loading him onto a helicopter, flying him to Westmead Hospital with multiple stab wounds. His brother, also 37, was also injured inside this Lura home. Both found alongside their mother, all unresponsive, at 7:30 this morning.
Probably like 7, 8 ambulances. And same with the police.
Both sons had stab wounds, their mother didn't. Police are investigating whether she may have harmed herself.
They kept to themselves.
A lot of, especially since COVID, a lot of people finished up very isolated and cut off from the world and just live with their own traumas.
It's believed the woman's partner raised the alarm.
I just hope the people involved recover from their injuries, you know.
The woman in her 60s was unconscious when paramedics arrived at this family home. She's now fighting for life at the Blue Mountains District Hospital. Her sons are in a stable condition. It's understood the adult children have intellectual disabilities as the investigation into what unfolded here continues. Amy Clements, 7 News.
3 weeks after the Harbour Bridge protest, tens of thousands of demonstrators have turned out in rallies around the nation to support the victims of Gaza. The hearts of our biggest city shut down in the name of peace.
Through the heart of Sydney, they marched as one. Tens of thousands taking to the streets to march for Gaza. The group flooding Hyde Park, making sure their message is heard.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free!
Then they were on the move, marching down George Street 3 weeks after shutting the Harbour Bridge.
And that march has absolutely unleashed the floodgates in this country.
I saw the Sydney Harbour one, I thought I need to do something.
Police watching closely as others just watched on. Protesters loud and proud, but ultimately peaceful.
It makes me feel like I'm part of a community. I've been coming for a long time.
Today's march, part of a nationwide stirring of support across 36 cities and towns. Barred from Brisbane's Story Bridge, more than 10,000 protesters came together, spilling over the river and shutting down South Bank. Police hunting one man seen flying a Hamas flag. Today marked Melbourne's 97th consecutive pro-Palestinian rally.
What started as a small gathering every Sunday, this weekly March for Palestine is growing by thousands of people every week, showing that strength in numbers means they will never give up.
I just want to join the solidarity, try and get some action, get something to happen.
I think it's bringing out the humanity in Australians, in Sydney-siders.
A groundswell of support on Sydney streets, demanding an end to a conflict half a world away. Taylor Aiken, 7 News.
And later in the program, the anti-immigration protesters pushing back, major rallies planned for next Sunday, promoted by politicians, influencers and artificial intelligence. They say they're taking their country back. Others say they're just racist. Don't miss that story after 6:30.
The Albanese government has agreed to freeze the National Construction Code that puts restrictions on housing in Australia, part of a plan to spark the stalled building sector. It's the first major policy move to come from last week's economic roundtable.
Will this finally put some fire under Australia's decades-long struggle to build enough homes?
We're pausing the changes to the National Construction Code for a 4-year period.
Building lobby groups delighted the code that sets construction minimums for builders will be eased.
We can now get on with the job of building.
And it's actually going to give us a better national construction code over time.
The Minister says the 1,500-page code is
much too complicated and difficult for our builders to use.
But its pause will not apply to key safety and quality changes. As well, she says, the government will speed up environmental home assessments, ease barriers to super funds investing in housing, encourage prefab housing and help states with faster approvals. The opposition says they argued for pausing the construction code well before the government's economic roundtable.
Sure enough, the only concrete step that comes out of the roundtable is coalition policy.
This as the Treasurer speculates on another possible roundtable outcome.
There are more steps to be taken on tax reform.
The comment picked up aboard a Cessna 182 on approach to Canberra.
Capita, this is India Yankee Echo.
The opposition leader flying herself to Parliament.
I'm really worried about Jim Chalmers' plans to increase taxes for hard-working Australians.
Let's go live to Tim Lester in Canberra now. Tim, Parliament is back for a fortnight from tomorrow. What do you expect?
Well, Mark, we expect the government will continue to press the housing theme, housing construction it spoke about today, but to those lower deposits for first home buyers that it promised prior to the last election. It's also hopeful that its legislation to guarantee penalty rates and overtime will pass the Parliament during this sitting. If the opposition has its way, they'll expect tax hikes to be the theme. It believes those comments from Treasurer Jim Chalmers today open the door under this government to tax rises, perhaps particularly for Australians reliant on superannuation.
OK, Tim Lester in Canberra, thank you. A Queensland gymnastics club has been forced to shut after its owner was arrested on child sex charges. He's accused of touching a teenager at a Western Sydney hotel and will face court here tomorrow. Parents of hundreds of other children now left wondering if their kids have also been targeted.
Wei Jun Lee once said he opened his Burleigh Head studio to help every child soar. Instead, he's accused of using skybound gymnastics to prey on our most vulnerable.
We have the right to be able to trust these people. We feel like they should be properly vetted, properly checked.
Lee is accused of sexually touching a teenage gymnast at a Western Sydney hotel back in April.
I'm quite shocked.
The club alerting parents it will be closing and ceasing all operations effective immediately. Followed up by a message from Gymnastics Australia confirming Lee was being investigated and noting its zero tolerance for any behaviour that puts members or children at risk.
I didn't see any evidence of anything that would make me scared.
Many parents we've spoken to, including this one, say the centre appeared to have strict protocols.
At no point is any of the coaches alone with the children. You can always see the kids at every point.
The business has operated since 2019.
When they come in and have a look, they tend to stick around.
Lee previously worked at the Sydney Gymnastics and Aquatic Centre and PCYC Auburn.
Lee appeared in Southport Court on Thursday, where his extradition to New South Wales was granted. Tomorrow he'll face a Sydney court for the first time.
Police have seized items from the studio, including computers, now being analysed. Dozens of families left with plenty of questions. Michael Hammond, 7 News.
Police are expected to charge a driver who fled on foot after a crash at Kogarah in Sydney South. Just before 1 o'clock this morning, a black SUV slammed into the side of a silver Mazda wagon. Emergency crews had to free a female passenger from the Mazda. Police say the 23-year-old driver of the SUV fled the scene, but officers quickly caught up with him. He was taken to hospital for treatment and mandatory testing.
Donald Trump has now given Vladimir Putin 2 weeks to decide if he'll meet with Volodymyr Zelensky. The Ukrainian president used a national address to insist he would not give up any more territory to Moscow as fears grow of another dangerous stalemate.
With his country at war, Ukraine's National Flag Day holds more meaning than ever. It symbolises what is most precious to hundreds of thousands of our warriors who are defending not just a particular direction, but our entire Ukraine. President Zelensky telling his people, "We will not give our land to the occupiers." It comes days after those high-stakes peace talks at the White House that ended with Trump leaving talks with Zelensky to call Russia's president.
Okay, let's call him right now. And I think one of the things I've realized about President Trump's leadership is he cuts through the BS of some of these diplomatic protocols and just says, I'm going to get things done.
Following that call, the White House has remained confident a bilateral meeting would take place between Presidents Putin and Zelensky within a matter of weeks. But Russia's top diplomat says it's not the right time.
There is no meeting planned. Putin is ready to meet with Zelensky when the agenda would be ready for a summit. And this agenda is not ready at all.
On security guarantees for Ukraine, the message is equally contradictory. European leaders have indicated they could send in troops as part of a post-war treaty. Russia insists that would be unacceptable, suggesting Putin's demands from before the Alaska summit haven't shifted at all. In the United States, Miley Hogan, 7 News.
An Australian woman potentially facing life in prison is speaking out ahead of her upcoming murder trial. Lisa Cunningham is accused of killing her 7-year-old stepdaughter. Now, in a rare jailhouse interview, she's told 7 News Spotlight she's innocent.
The story of Lisa Cunningham is a nightmare whichever way you look at it.
They came over and said, "We're sorry."
Either the nightmare this Aussie mother allegedly inflicted on her stepdaughter Sanaa.
I never restrained or zip-tied or handcuffed. You can't handcuff a 6-year-old.
Or the nightmare of living inside this maximum security jail for a crime she says she didn't commit.
Did you kill your stepdaughter, Lisa?
How dare you or anybody else get to shame parents because they have a child that self-harms?
But which Lisa Cunningham story is true?
Tonight we'll bring you unprecedented access inside this prison to hear from an Australian mother in her own words.
It's always been such a mystery to us why it is easier to believe that we tried to slowly kill her with this bizarre delayed death story than it is to simply accept the fact that she entered into the early onset period of serious mental illness.
Lisa is speaking ahead of her trial early next month after countless delays.
Even with the death penalty dropped now, what's at stake here?
Well, first-degree murder, there are only two possible outcomes: death penalty or what we call natural life. And the only way you're getting out is in a pine box.
The night before the arraignment, she said, "No matter what, I will always find my way back to you. And I'm going to hold her to it."
Did you love Sanaa?
I loved them all. Loved her to death.
Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
And you can see the full story on 7 News Spotlight at 8:10 tonight. There are serious claims we're not getting the full picture when it comes to our health. A Sydney nutritionist believes the 5-star ratings on packaged food are so out of touch, she's started her own alternative system.
They're light, tasty and fit neatly in a lunchbox.
Can you roll it?
Wraps, a lunchtime staple, often branded as healthy, but what's really inside?
I found an alarming number of emulsifiers. Some of these emulsifiers are linked to cardiovascular disease, cancers and gut inflammation.
Paediatric nutritionist Mandy Sacker delivering her own real food ratings.
The Simpsons Pantry gets a 1.5 stars instead of the 5. On my real food rating, this gets 0.5 real food rating.
Wow.
And I would say avoid at all costs.
She started a petition with almost 10,000 signatures calling for a review into the Health Star rating system. But experts say the main priority is to make it mandatory for all packaged foods.
We would hate to see waiting another 10 years for a different system that's developed to come on board. So this is a really important policy window now.
Just 36% of eligible packages carries the Health Star ratings. That's well short of the 70% uptake target. The food ministers are expected to meet to discuss this early next year and look at making the system mandatory. A system that parents often look at for guidance when picking what's best for their kids.
We want our children to have the best start in life, and that starts with healthy bodies, healthy minds. It starts with what they're putting in their mouths.
Zoe Martin, 7 News.
Sydney's Woollahra Ghost Station will now become the platform for a massive housing boom. Up to 10,000 apartments are to be built in the middle of the eastern suburbs, and despite critics, the Premier says it's full steam ahead.
After losing the race for homes at Rose Hill, the Premier trying a new track in one of our wealthiest postcodes.
To combat Sydney's housing crisis, everybody's going to have to do their bit.
Confirming Friday's 7 News report of a plan to finish Woollahra train station 50 years after it was abandoned and rezone around it for up to 10,000 new homes.
Places like Penrith, Blacktown, Parramatta have been delivering 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 homes a year. Woollahra has been delivering 100.
Potentially allowing up to the same height as this, 21 storeys, 800 metres around Woollahra and 400 metres around Edgecliff Station, which would include a property belonging to opposition leader Mark Speakman.
This isn't a plan B, it's not a plan at all. Build a train station and hope that somehow 10,000 new homes will come along.
With a pledge for affordable housing where the median apartment price is $1.6 million.
Can't give you an exact number, but we expect it to be up to 10%.
The government says work would begin here in 2027, with the first trains stopping at Woollahra Station in 2029, insisting that much of the construction could happen during weekend maintenance, meaning there wouldn't have to be a big shutdown of the T4 line.
Locals on board with the station, but
it's a lot of people. Where's the infrastructure?
The roads just don't, they're not fit for that amount of traffic.
Woollahra's mayor says it's not about being NIMBYs.
It's not. It's saying, tell us what the details are.
We'll speak to the local community, but it can't be stopped.
Paul Caddick, 7 News.
Time to check the weather now with Angie Asmus. And Angie, we started the day with beautiful sunshine.
We certainly did, Ange. Sunday off to a glorious start before some afternoon clouds rolled in, and no surprises that everyone was soaking up that sunshine after last week's drenching. The beaches were busy with swimmers also lapping up a winter swim at Bondi Icebergs. The top in the city centre was 19 degrees, a very pleasant 20 in our west. A broad high pressure system covers our state at the moment, and that is forecast to be the dominant feature through until early next week. That will keep the rain away. And take a look at some of these inland temperatures today. 23 degrees at Tibooburra, 24 for a maximum at Lismore. That warmth will filter all the way to Sydney this week. I'll have more on that early taste of spring coming up soon, Mark and Ange.
All sounds good.
Does.
Thanks, Angie. Another young life cut short on a notorious stretch of road. Next, a trail bike rider killed in our southwest. Locals demanding action.
Patriotic protests or racist rabble? The anti-immigration march coming to a city near you.
Brave rescue, a driver saved from a burning car with seconds to spare.
Later, the Australian doctor whose treatment for back pain is changing the game.
And they're well outside the city limits, but there's no stopping the nutbush at Mundi Mundi. Welcome back. A trail bike rider has died at a notorious intersection at Minto in Sydney southwest. Locals say they've repeatedly warned about the dangers, but nothing has been done.
What's left of a blue trail bike lies by the roadside after it collided with this car just before 9 o'clock last night. Tarak Hassan saw the crash unfold and rushed to help the 20-year-old rider. Paramedics tried as well, but he died at the scene.
I ran immediately, and I found that the motorcycle driver with the helmet and with the jacket just fall down on the street, and I immediately called the ambulance.
The car's driver, a 25-year-old man, wasn't hurt. He was taken to hospital for mandatory testing.
The motorcycle driver just trying to cross over there, just not looking left and right, just driving. So the driver has nothing to do. The motorcycle just hit.
Crash after crash, this intersection at Pembroke Road and Durham Street in Minto is an accident black spot.
Last 1 year, I should say around 5 or 6 I have seen.
For more than 25 years, Jack Bly has been pleading for change, saying it was only a matter of time until someone lost their life.
If they had lights there, it wouldn't have happened. That's it. Lights save lives.
Residents say they've seen enough crashes here to steer clear altogether, choosing to take the long way around rather than risk this intersection.
One ambulance was there to pick someone up and they had an accident with the other ambulance.
Amy Clements, 7 News.
Mushroom killer Erin Patterson will return to court tomorrow to hear firsthand the devastation she caused. Victim impact statements will be delivered as part of a hearing to determine her sentence. 3 people died after she served up a beef Wellington laced with death cap mushrooms. The sole survivor, Ian Wilkinson, will be there, but Patterson's estranged husband, Simon, won't attend.
A police officer had only seconds to spare when he was called to this crash in Texas. 2 cars collided on a major highway, leaving one driver pinned inside the wreck of a flaming vehicle. Body cam captured the officer sprinting to help, using a fire extinguisher to stop the blaze from spreading and saving the driver from serious burns.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are considering making a documentary about his late mother, Princess Diana. It's one of the options being discussed as part of their multi-million-dollar deal with streaming giant Netflix. If the doco gets the green light, it would be released to coincide with the 30th anniversary of Diana's death in 2027. Anti-immigration protests coming to our city, coming up after 6:30. The real politicians and fake online influencers who claim they're taking our country back.
Drug deal gone wrong, the mistake that left this man in handcuffs.
A treatment for crippling back pain that has patients up and walking within 24 hours.
Alien Returns, the sci-fi thriller, gets a small screen reboot.
Fueling up mid-chase, a driver makes a pit stop during a high-speed pursuit.
We meet a very special volunteer, making patients smile when they need it the most.
And ahead in sport, a heaving Leichhardt Oval try of the year, but sorry to say it, Tigers' hearts are broken.
We've seen over recent weeks massive numbers marching through our streets in support of Palestine. But next Sunday, a different type of protest will take place.
Organisers have described the March for Australia as a response to mass migration and political cowardice, but critics are blasting it as racist and bigoted.
An online movement.
When did it become racist to be a patriot?
Planning to take to the streets.
The Australian people have had enough.
With the backing of real politicians.
How dare you bring these people to our country and then have them be looked after by the public purse? This nation is sick and tired of migration.
This is the digital groundswell behind March for Australia, a planned series of demonstrations next Sunday in every state capital, anti-mass migration rallies. Sam won't give her real name and would only answer our questions in a pre-recorded video message posted to her page, but claims to be an organiser.
Myself, as well as every other state organiser, is intending for this event to be peaceful, non-violent, non-aggressive, and just a bunch of your average Australians standing up against mass immigration.
There is no clear single leader. Many supporters, though, were aligned with anti-lockdown, anti-vaccine movements.
Everyone I know is going.
There are videos that don't even feature real people.
We demand this government is removed by the Governor-General immediately.
AI-generated clips used to sell the message. Security experts say the social media algorithm-driven momentum is fueled by scenes globally. Immigration raids ordered by the US President in America, protests against migrants in the UK.
I think we need to recognise that there are people who are genuinely doing it tough and perhaps genuinely want to do something which they think will make things better. They may be wrong, but, don't underestimate the fact that people are doing it tough.
Initially promoted as a counter to the pro-Palestinian rally across the Sydney Harbour Bridge, alleged organisers have so far rejected attempts by racist far-right figures to join the campaign.
We ask that people treat each other with respect as a foremost priority in expressing those views.
The febrile atmosphere creates a challenge for authorities.
It's really hard to figure out where the potential flashpoints might be and where things might escalate.
Where what happens on social media faces the reality of real life on the streets.
Justice.
Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
A Florida man using a drone to deliver drugs found himself in handcuffs after the device took a wrong turn and crash landed in someone's backyard. He showed up on the doorstep trying to get it back.
Wait, where's this drone at the moment?
It showed me it was in the backyard, but I tried to knock.
We can't just be going in people's backyards trying to look for shit.
I know, that's why I knocked.
The homeowner rang police. They found bags of methamphetamine and fentanyl with people's names on them attached to the drone.
A driver in a stolen car somehow managed to evade police despite stopping for petrol in the middle of a high-speed chase. It happened in LA, the driver taking his time to fill up in full view of both police and news helicopters.
I mean, he couldn't be acting any more suspicious, I'll tell you that. This is a wild scene here as he just drops the pump and continues on after a quick splash of gas.
He eventually abandoned the car and ran, and he still has not been caught.
There was a colourful and gigantic display at Barangaroo this morning marking Ukrainian independence with the world's largest Ukrainian flag.
60 metres by 40 metres, weighs 153 kilos. It has toured the world. It's been in Ukraine, it's been in America, and now it's Australia's turn.
The massive flag will tour the rest of Australia before heading overseas again.
A multi-million-dollar makeover Bronte Surf Club set to be torn down to make way for a new era. Details next.
The creature that gave everyone nightmares is back. We take a look at Disney's Alien reboot. Does it live up to the hype?
If these wheels could talk, a piece of Aussie history up for grabs.
And in sport, trouble for the Roosters. Sam Walker KO'd as Moses and the Eels shake up the race for 8.
One of Sydney's most popular surf clubs is about to undergo a major makeover. The $24 million overhaul will see the current building demolished next month. This is an artist's impression of what the new building will look like, carefully blending into the grass and rock cliffs. The current building is more than 50 years old. It's hoped the new clubhouse will be up and running by 2027.
It's considered one of the best sci-fi horror films of all time. Now the Alien franchise has a TV reboot. Critics have called Alien Earth the next Game of Thrones, complete with a mega $250 million budget.
It gave a generation nightmares. Now Alien is back in a major new TV series, Alien Earth.
It's scarier this time around because the alien, it's brought friends.
There's a lot of creatures. I was a little bit sceptical when I first read the script. I was thinking, we can't have other creatures. We can only have xenomorphs.
Collected 5 different life forms from the darkest corners of the universe.
Featuring Aussie Essie Davis, the show, like the 1979 movie, tackles greed.
The rise of AI and corporate power, it's really taken on a whole new relevance.
We are in huge danger of right now is corporate greed and the fact that the richest people are running the world. Our world, government's been given up on. The world is now completely run by 5 corporate organisations.
It also follows the footsteps of Sigourney Weaver's Ripley.
Sydney Chandler, who leads the show, is phenomenal. She's so amazing, and and it's not sort of like a mirroring thing that's happening with the Ripley character. She's bringing in like a power in her own space.
A mega cast, a massive budget, $250 million.
It's a huge collaboration.
Yeah.
And everyone has really raised the bar.
Yeah.
9 million views in its first week, taking Alien Earth into a whole new universe. Sally Bowery, 7 News.
You could get your hands on a slice of Aussie history when Steve Irwin's four-wheel drive goes to auction from tonight. The 1982 Toyota Land Cruiser, which he called Troopy, used to be in service at Australia Zoo and has the words Crocodile Hunter printed on its side. It's done 415,000 kilometres, so it's well and truly been put through its paces. Bids close on September the 1st.
Back pain can be debilitating and severe with no quick fix, but an Australian doctor is doing his best to change that. Still to come, the procedure giving patients back their quality of life.
And dancing in the dust to defend a world title. Don't miss those stories soon on 7 News.
First, Matt's here with Sport. And Matt, what around in the NRL finals race?
Not to mention Manly still alive. Ange and Fergo, well done to DCE and the team yesterday. From that Raiders try to the Roosters boil over. Then today, Reece Walsh and his Broncos looming as a serious threat. Then the crazy scenes at Leichhardt Oval, but it's all over for the Tigers. All the footy next. And a record-breaking innings of outrageous power hitting from the Aussies against South Africa.
I wanted to see some acrobatics from someone in the crowd on that one.
A gripping round of final shaping footy ended with an 11-try shootout and West Tigers out of the top 8 race. The Broncos thrashed the Knights in Newcastle at a heaving Leichhardt. The Tigers led the Cowboys by 12 in the second half, but were left heartbroken.
The Sniffer finals had the eighth wonder at capacity. Stephen Crichton and Spencer Leniu, part of the Guard of Honour for Jerome Luai's 150th. But with everything to play for, the Tigers were mugged by the Cowboys. 10-0 down inside 10 minutes, and Adam Dewey off to hospital with a concussion and suspected facial fractures. Time for Benji to issue a mayday call.
Taylor May gives Sammy Ballabé an absolute bar.
Taylor May scored twice before a moment of sheer magic that evoked memories of the glory days.
It's the Tigers of 05!
May's flick pass found Sunia Taruva, who surged into the Cowboys' half and found his flying fullback.
Taruva to Fuller!
Oh, yeah! 16-10 Tigers at half-time. The roller coaster continued in the second 40. Tom Dearden levelled the scores before the Tigers crossed twice to boot 12 clear.
Jerome's got his first four-pointer as a West Tiger.
But just when they looked in control, Scott Drinkwater dragged the Cowboys back from the brink. From 28-16 down, he laid on 3 tries in 5 minutes to snuff out the Tigers' finals hopes, converting all 3 from the touchline.
Deflated, disappointed. Essentially, we had the game in our hands there and we let it slip.
In Newcastle, the Knights got a rev from their old boys. Game 350 for Ben Hunt, who gave the last pass for Katoni Staggs to get the Broncos up and running. Reece Walsh in a charitable mood.
He gives it back to Kobe Hetherington.
From 20-6 down, the Knights threatened an unlikely second-half comeback, but Jake Arthur bombed a certain try and Brisbane piled on the pain.
Haas into a hole. He'll run away.
The Broncos ran in the final 5 tries to ensure Hunt's milestone was one to remember.
It feels like a dream, it really does. From a little boy from the bush, you know, the dream was just to play one game.
Nick Market, 7 News.
Mitch Moses and Parra did all bar Roosters fans a favour by keeping the race for 8th alive. Last night the Warriors held 4th place, with the Eels' big upset kept the Dolphins and Manly clinging on.
The awful early knockout of Sam Walker rocked the Roosters last night.
That's it.
Also forcing the recall of Sandon Smith for a must-win visit to Melbourne on Friday night.
There's no choice. There's no choice.
8 wins, only 3 less than the Roosters. What if Mitch Moses had played more than 11 games? Kangaroos number 7 ahead of Nathan Cleary.
Got to play good footy here and focus on here, and that stuff sorts itself out.
Mitch was really happy that he won the toss today, so that's where Mitch is at. So he wants to win everything.
The Riles resets showing so much promise. 30-10 over a team that's dealt with the Bulldogs, Dolphins, Manly and Storm in a month. Now for the Roosters, must win over Melbourne and the Rabbitohs to make it. Anything can happen, especially with Mark Nawangini-Tawase.
He's unbelievable, eh?
Warriors 32, Titans 18 at a Kiwi-crazed Gold Coast. The real contest was Des v Journo, who asked if David Fifita has permission to leave.
He signed for 26. He signed for 26. He signed for 26.
You're not answering the question, Des.
I'm not going to answer it.
It's an important issue of the club.
No, it's not. No, I'm not going to answer. We don't discuss retention on this platform.
Yeah, but that's just a cop-out.
No, it's not.
It is a cop-out.
No, it's not.
Mate, have a look at the crowd out there tonight. They're all Warriors fans. It's embarrassing.
He signed for 26.
We'll see Fifita at Souths next year. After round 25, the Raiders remain a win clear of the Storm. The Dolphins and Manly are now the only teams with the chance to sneak into the finals from outside the 8. In defeat, the Wallabies won further admiration this morning. They lost Tom Wright with a knee and Nick White with concussion in the first 10 minutes. Joseph Su'a-Ali'i followed at half-time. Only the 1963 Aussies had won consecutive tests in South Africa. Still, the Wallabies fought to 23-22 against the Springboks in Cape Town. 3 tries all, but beaten 30-22.
I was massively proud of the way the players stayed in the game. It does give belief.
Credit to Bob, but just a bit disappointed at the moment.
Next, Argentina in Townsville and Sydney off their first ever victory over the All Blacks on home soil. In Manchester, the Wallaroos started the Women's World Cup with a 73-0 victory over Samoa, their biggest in tournament history. At his competitive best, Toby Green led the Giants to 5th and a likely home elimination final with today's 11-point win over St Kilda. Fremantle sealed the other eliminator, beating the Bulldogs. The Giants' opponent is unclear with 2 games to go.
Forced to fight every step to the top 8, finally the Giants can stop and breathe.
Oh, mate, you've got to just win it. You've got to keep winning. It's tough comp and we'll finish 5th or 6th, whatever it is.
One last chance to lock in a home elimination final and farewell Callum Ward. Toby Green didn't leave anything to chance.
Hands it back to Toby to work some brilliance. It's a work of art.
The Saints long gone from finals contention but eager to spoil the Giants' plans. Not that they could do much to stop their skipper. 4 goals, no one does big moments like Toby, twice rising to the occasion in the last 2 minutes.
You got to go. Guess you got to go, mate. It looks worse if you don't.
Well, that's Toby, isn't it?
The pre-finals bye, vital for Stephen Coniglio, subbed out with concussion. Fremantle will host the other elimination final, 15-point winners over the Bulldogs, who need Essendon to beat Gold Coast to play finals. The Swans' year ended with a 67-point thrashing of Wooden Spooners West Coast.
It's not where this footy club wants to be, finishing up the season now. I'm honestly super disappointed.
Bring on Mad Monday.
Probably 2 or 3 weeks of doing nothing, just deloading and probably a fair bit of piss, to be honest.
James Manton, 7 News.
Head first, then Marsh and Green, a record-breaking batting feast for Australia in the third one-dayer. Travis Head made 142 and Marsh 100 in a 250-run stand, then made way for Cameron Green's ridiculous power hitting. Mackay's Great Barrier Reef Arena, way too small for him.
Yeah, there you go. That's a rule. Oh, wow. Might have to see some acrobatics from someone in the crowd on that one.
A maiden ton of 47 balls, 118 not out with 8 sixes, 2 for 431, Australia's second highest one-day total and first with 3 centuries. Tottenham are 2 from 2 in the Premier League under Ange Postecoglou's successor, Thomas Frank. Spurs sit second behind London rivals Arsenal after a 2-0 win at Manchester City. The Gunners' star recruit opened his account against Leeds United.
It's Victor Gyökeres! That is what he is all about!
The 5-0 romp was soured by injuries to Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard. Socceroo Nestori Irankunda's first goal for Watford in the second-tier championship was a screamer. The Hornets drew 1-1 with Swansea and a hairy moment in Hungary. MotoGP cameraman narrowly avoided being hit by Pedro Acosta's flying bike in qualifying. Pretty unfazed by the terrifying near miss, or maybe in shock, Big Joao gave a quick thumbs up. Very cool cameraman there, but a motorbike hitting you, not a good day at work.
Calm under pressure.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matty.
An Australian surgeon has pioneered a new method to help patients crippled by back pain.
He's overhauled what was once major surgery, slashing operating times and hospital stays. Some patients are even walking the very next day.
Barbara Davis has spent the past 20 years in agony after a 600-kilo horse threw her into a fence, injuring her lower back. Now the 66-year-old is riding once again.
Oh, it's fantastic. Absolutely amazing.
Barbara had bones in her spine fused for stability and nerve pain relief. Spinal fusion was once an invasive 6-hour operation and patients needed to be turned over midway through, but not anymore.
Sounds a bit scary, but I was amazed. I was in hospital for one night and I was walking the next day.
Professor Alan Buckland has pioneered a 90-minute procedure which has an 85% success rate.
Patients now stay in overnight in the home the following day in 90% of cases.
Back pain is the #1 cause of disability around the world, and here 4 million Australians, or 1 in 6, live with back problems.
Most back pain doesn't need surgery, and certainly people get scared out of doing back surgery because of the history.
The surgeon says only 2% of his fusion patients need rehabilitation, compared to 35% who undergo traditional surgery. He's now teaching the technique to others in the hope many more patients can be helped. Jackie Quist, 7 News.
It's one of the Mediterranean's biggest underwater attractions, and these divers have the job of keeping it in good nick. Using pressurised hoses, they remove crustaceans and decay from the Christ of the Abyss statue lying off Italy's northern coast. It sits on the seabed about 16 metres below the surface. The bronze monument was planted there more than 70 years ago in memory of those who've died at sea.
Australia's world record for the largest number of people doing the Nutbush simultaneously remains intact tonight. More than 6,700 people kicked up the dust to the Tina Turner Classic in Broken Hill. They do it every year at the Monday Bash, and it's always a hoot, raising hundreds of thousands for the Royal Flying Doctor Service. You just got to move when you hear it, don't you?
What a scene, eh? She's got a winning smile and it's infectious. We join little Remy on her rounds in tonight's Bright Side. That's next.
And temperatures are on the way up this week. Details on when Sydney will hit the mid-20s coming up next.
On 7 News tomorrow, a Monday night medical surprise. Young Australians love it, but its secret power could be anti-aging.
Allows older individuals a longer life where they're more active.
From saving your memory to preventing falls. Living longer. 7 News Sydney, connecting you tomorrow at 6.
Our Sunday started out beautifully, lots of sunshine. However, the clouds arrived this afternoon and it is still quite overcast in Sydney this evening. Top in the city centre was 19 degrees this afternoon. Tonight won't be too cold either now that the clouds have settled in. Winds did tend west to southwesterly today, so even though tops were around 19 or 20 degrees for most suburbs, did feel a fair bit cooler than that. Checking the satellite image, you'll see New South Wales is mostly cloud-free, just a little bit edging onto the coast, and our state is under the influence of high pressure. That high pressure to remain the dominant feature over the next few days. It means more sunshine and some very warm temperatures. Around the capitals, Brisbane is looking good, sunny, a top of 25 degrees. Canberra also settled with 19 forecast. Showers are set to impact the nation's south through Melbourne, Hobart, Adelaide and across in Perth. Very cool in Perth, just 14 degrees. Darwin stays fine though, 33 for maximum. For New South Wales, generally fine tomorrow. Daytime temperatures starting to tend well above average. Tibooburra expecting a top of 26 degrees, 22 on the way for Port Macquarie, 20 at Newcastle, 21 at Newcastle and 20 at Bega. Sydney will enjoy a partly cloudy day as well. No sign of any wet weather. Light winds tending east to southeasterly in the early afternoon. Most centres on track for tops in the 20s, just a touch cooler on the coast. 19 at Mona Vale and Bondi, 15 at Katoomba. On the water, winds will be strongest during the morning with southwesterlies up to 30 knots, decreasing from there on a sizable 3-metre swell, improving during the afternoon though. Wind warnings cover the Byron coast and the Hunter coast right down to the border. Back in the city, a milder night with double digits, 11 the low, top of 20 under those very welcome partly cloudy skies. The next few days are promising an early taste of spring. Tuesday, the warmest of it, with Penrith to reach 25 degrees. Our west could see a passing shower or two on Wednesday, but apart from that, there is a lot of sunshine in this warm-up lineup, and a lot of people probably pretty happy about that. Mark and Ange?
Yes,
Correct.
You're forgiven for the past few weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Now, here's Grace Fitzgibbon with The Bright Side.
Tonight, a very small dog on a big, beautiful mission.
The pitter-patter of her little feet is enough to make your day. Meet Remy, the queen of making people smile. Her Remy rounds at Chris O'Brien Lifehouse, easily the best days of the week for patients and staff.
You've got plenty of waiting time around in a hospital, so she's a good distraction. She's comfort to patients who are going through treatment as well.
And she's just clocked up 5 years service.
She wasn't going to be the therapy dog, but when we brought her in here at 12 weeks of age, she was just so natural, easy to walk around Lifehouse and navigate all the lifts and stairs and all the patients with their wheelchairs and things. So that's why we put her through the training.
Next month, Remy will be picking up the pace for the Go the Distance campaign, committing to 10,000 little steps a day.
Every day in September, she'll be running around the hospital and getting her steps up to lose a little bit of weight.
Hopefully a little easier with 4 legs.
She's got a decent run on her, though.
Remy, she looks good. Yeah. She's fine. That is 7 News for this Sunday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening.
From all of the 7 News team, thanks so much for your company. Have a great night.
Good night.